right. Okay, welcome everyone to the November edition of OUTspoken, the Publishing Triangle's monthly reading series, which we've been hosting here at the Bureau for a couple of years now. My name is Greg Newton. I am the co-founder of the Bureau of General Services Queer Division, along with my partner, Donnie Jokum. The Bureau is an independent, all-volunteer queer bookstore that Donnie and I founded in 2012, and that has been here at the LGBT Community Center since 2014. The Bureau, as an all-volunteer organization, depends on both sales and donations to keep this boat afloat. So I'm going to pass a bag around, and if you're able to make a donation, we appreciate it. If you're able to sign up to make a monthly donation, tax deductible, we appreciate it even more. You can do that at the laptop at the back. You can also do that on our website, bgsqd.com. But if you'd just like to make a donation now, we'd love it. There's also a QR code on Venmo if you want to give that way. And anyone watching online, if you want to make a donation through Venmo, our handle is BGSQD. The Bureau has regular business hours, Wednesdays through Sundays from 1 to 7 p.m. And then we often stay open later when we have events such as this. And if you're not already on our email list and you would like to be, you can sign up for that at the back of the room or on our website, bgsqd.com. And you'll get an email every other Monday about our upcoming events, and we have quite a few. You can also check out the events calendar on the website, bgsqd.com. Before I bring Rob Burns up from the Publishing Triangle, I'd like to start us with a land acknowledgement. So the Bureau acknowledges that our organization operates on the unceded land of the Munsee Lenape. We encourage you to join the Bureau in signing up to make a monthly donation to the American Indian Community Houses Mannahatta Fund. The Mannahatta Fund, according to its website, is an invitation to all settlers and non-native people who wish to acknowledge the legacy of theft and genocide that comprise the history of New York City and the United States. And you can find out more at mannahattafund.org. The Bureau also recognizes Palestinian liberation as a fundamental part of our collective queer liberation, and we strongly encourage you to take one of our free zines by the Register about why we feel it's important, especially for queer people, to speak out in solidarity with Palestinians. And with that, I cede the stage to Rob Burns of the Publishing Triangle. Please give him a very warm welcome.
Thank you, Greg. As Greg said, I am Rob Burns. I'm with the Publishing Triangle. And also with me here today is Carol Rosenfeld, who's the chair of the Publishing Triangle. Yes, definitely. We're a small group. There are 8 members of our board of directors, I think, is that right? Or 9, maybe. And we're all an all-volunteer organization. If you have had a book out in 2025 or will before December 31st, please consider submitting it for one of our annual awards. They all come with cash prizes of $1,000 to $3,000 for the Farrell Grumley Award. And so we would love to have you submit the books. We also encourage you to get on our mailing list. If you're not on it already, please drop an email to us at publishingtriangle@gmail.com, and we will happily add you. We do these events more or less monthly. This fall has been a little sporadic, but when we get into January, we're going to hit our stride again. Probably not starting at 6 o'clock. I'm realizing that is interfering with the commute. So we might roll it back to about 6:30, but we try to keep these events moving right along. I've already talked too long, see? So let's get on to our readers for tonight. First up, Jeffrey Newman, PhD, is Dean Emeritus of the College of the Arts at Montclair State University in New Jersey, not too far from where we are right now. He was the first holder of the Owen Dustin Distinguished Professorship from Wabash College in 1987 and received the prestigious Amico Award for Theatrical Excellence from the Kennedy Center American College Theater Festival in 1979. He helped establish the Department of Theater at Wabash College in 1970 and served on the faculty of the Drama Department from 1975 to 1986, during which time he was appointed Chairman of Drama. He then served as the founding dean of the College of Arts at Montclair State University. He now resides in Palm Springs, California with his husband, Ed, who's also his soulmate of 47 years. So please welcome Jeffrey Newman.
We'll turn this around, Jeffrey, so you can see an audience. Oh, your mic is off. I can't hear you yet. Still muted. Should be on your lower
Okay,
left.
I'm ready. Oh, sorry.
No worries.
Sorry. Now I see the group. Well, thank you. Thank you very much. It's a pleasure to be here and to share a part of my book, and then to take whatever questions you might have. I actually had a prepared opening, but I think I'm going to skip that, and I'll just go right to the reading of the book. The book is actually organized in a series of acts, and it's done as a somewhat as a script would happen, because I use the overall organizing handle as all the William Shakespeare's All the World's a Stage. So I actually think of the memoir that I wrote in that way, and that's how it's been structured. The first part of it, or the first act, which is what I'm going to read from for you tonight, or today, tonight, I guess, is Act One, and it's called Striving, from 1956 to 1964. My French teacher at Calvin Coolidge Public High School in Washington, D.C., made a troubling announcement on my first day of the 10th grade. Neither Black people nor Jews have the capacity or capability to master the French language, he said. So if you fall into either category, you must drop my class, as you are going to fail. Someone asked him about the French-speaking countries in Africa and the West Indies, where locals speak French as their native language. He did not hesitate. What they speak is a poor version of French, he replied. You can say that those countries speak a bastardized version of French, not the language as it should be spoken. I teach French as it is spoken in France. The year was 1962, quite a volatile one. All around America, frustration and negativity reigned. Every day you heard of some tragedy. The country was changing. People in authority felt it was time to assert control, reinforce rules, and keep people in line. This idea was particularly true for tenured public school teachers, entrenched in their roles for many years. So shocking as my teachers' words were, they came as no surprise. My parents took what he said as a challenge. First, we went to the school principal. I listened as my mother, a teacher herself, made a case that I should be taken out of the class. She demanded to know how such a racist, bigoted teacher could be allowed to remain in any classroom at a public school. To our surprise, the principal was meek, a very timid man not wanting to engage in any dialogue concerning one of his tenured teachers. That's not my decision, he told my parents. He has strong connections in the office of the superintendent of schools. There's nothing I can do. Well, my mother rarely took no for an answer. No one intimidated her, particularly if one of her children was in jeopardy. The next thing I knew, I was in the waiting room of the superintendent's office as my parents prepared for an audience with this high-level administrator. When he appeared at the entrance of his office and saw my parents, he seemed surprised. The superintendent looked to me like a powerful, self important, huge white man who had no experience dealing with two highly educated, articulate, and well informed Black parents. But these Black parents were on a mission. I was told to remain in the outer office while my parents entered this autocratic's inner sanctum. I vigilantly listened while acting as if I couldn't hear what they were saying, but it wasn't difficult to hear what was happening. While both my parents were present, my mother, a certified teacher in this very public school system, took the lead in making the case for her son. I easily made out my parents' loud yet respectful voices as they took control of the situation. The meeting seemed to go on forever as I patiently waited for it to end. Clearly, my parents had no intention of leaving the superintendent's office without achieving a satisfactory outcome. Shortly after our visit, I was moved into another overcrowded French class led by a different teacher who at least didn't harbor the same negative feelings as the previous one. My parents' efforts paid off, but my struggles in learning continued. What a way to start learning another language, I thought. Coolidge only offered 2 French classes on the college preparatory track. My new class was oversubscribed and well beyond the limit of 25 students. Students were expected to learn in what they didn't accomplish in what they called language laboratories. These were very sanitized small spaces that contained headphones with partitions separating the students. They looked like little prison environments stripped of everything lacking warmth, pictures, or representations of countries and people outside the United States. This was not a space that seemed designed to make me feel welcomed or motivated to learn a new language. Once again, I felt discouraged. Placement in this class was better, but the new French teacher struggled to give students the individualized attention they needed. We students seemed to be mostly on our own, in or out of the language lab. Even worse, if a student did not satisfactorily complete this beginning level French class, they had little hope of completing the 2-year Romance language requirement of the college preparatory track or getting accepted into a college. I could have studied German, the other prep language open to students in this track, but those classes were oversubscribed to students as well. And Spanish, well, Spanish was not considered a fulfillment of the language requirement for college and was not even offered to college preparatory students. Another glaring example of the pernicious prejudices operating in the larger community. Once again, it appeared I was stuck in a situation where I would have to make it work, whether I liked it or not. In addition to my French class debacle, during a teacher-parent conference, my homeroom teacher told my parents, as I sat and listened, that I did not have college potential. Even if Jeffrey, even if Jeffrey is lucky enough to get into a college or get a college to admit him, she said, he will most certainly drop out or fail. That conference was the culmination of many lessons I had learned over the years. I was a Black student in a white system. The first lesson came in the fourth grade when I had to pack up and walk to an all-white school in Southeast Washington, D.C., so my light-skinned Black face could add color to the pale student body. No one there looked or sounded like me. At 8 years old, I thought that was the worst thing that could ever happen to me. I seemed far, I seemed far behind the white students. The teachers rarely called on me. When I raised my hand to answer a question, I was always surprisingly wrong or embarrassed. I felt like I had been poorly prepared or missed something. My self-esteem went down the tubes. I constantly wondered if what I had been previously taught provided any value at all in this new environment. Slowly, I realized my education was in my own hands. I could only succeed if I took control of my learning process. I needed help. And that's when my mother, who understood the discriminatory practices of the public schools, made her signature move. From the fourth grade until I started high school, she insisted that I come home every day after school and review my daily lesson plan by sharing what had happened in that classroom with her that day. She would then help me prepare for the next day of class. And of course, I cried and yelled. I didn't like this plan. It's not fair, I said. Everyone else gets to go out and play, and I have to study with you. Every time she had the same reply: better to cry now than be sorry later, she said. She waited as I dried my tears. I would always trust her words, finish my work, and prepare for the next day in class. My mother was seldom wrong in advice or direction, and she possessed the patience of Job.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Excuse me. Thank you, Jeffrey. And Michelle Carlsbrook was gonna kick my ass. Your publicist. You at least mentioned the name of the book as you were wrapping up. I did not. Better to Cry Now. And I just happened to look at the website, all the stuff I should have done before. Better to Cry Now, I should add, has been honored with the National Indie Excellence Award for LGBTQIA nonfiction and the BookFest second place nonfiction LGBTQ plus award, recognizing Jeffrey's powerful and inspiring contribution to memoir and arts literature. Looking forward to hearing more at Saints and Sinners. I heard you talking about going. We're all going.
Yes.
A lot of us are going to be there. You're friends. So thank you, Jeffrey.
Thank you.
Our next reader, inspired by Carrie Bradshaw, Rodney Rhoda Taylor returned to school to pursue writing and eventually graduated with a degree in creative writing from San Francisco State University. They are the author of the short plays Eros, Poolside, Goodbye Cupid, My Fairy Godmother, Baby Christina, Motherly Advice, and P.S. I Love You. And they are a co-founder of the Left Coast Theater Company, an LGBTQ theater in San Francisco. Their first book, a memoir, A Life in Letters, So I got the title, at least in that one.
Yeah.
It's a story of resilience, sequence, and hope. They presently reside in the South with their little chihuahua, Isabel, hoping one day Cupid will still pay them a visit. And Rodney will also be at Saints and Sinners in March. So please welcome Rodney Rhoda Taylor.
Wait until I can see everybody. Hello. All right. So yeah, my book, Elisha Letters. Never mind, you can't see it. So it's a memoir told through letters written through thoughts, feelings, and emotions that I've been through in life. So I broke it up into different sections of preteens, the teen years, the 20s, 30s, 40s, and I hate to admit it, the 50s. But I didn't call it any of those. So I'm just going to read a couple of letters. So in the letters, like they're written to like Santa, to puberty, to Cupid, to love, and a couple to my. Sorry about that. All right. So, dear Santa, how are you? How was Mrs. Claus? How are reindeer? I hope Rudolph is okay. I've been a good boy again. I get good grades in school. I like it a little more this year. Mommy said I don't tell you my brother is mean. She says that it's tattletelling and you don't like that. I hope I'm not on the naughty list. I'm really a good boy. I'm still doing what my parents tell me, and I eat all my vegetables. They are still yucky. I like a train set, Lincoln Logs, and Tinker Toys for Christmas this year. And I also have a Snoopy teddy bear. I like teddy bears. Merry Christmas to you and Mrs. Claus and all the elves. P.S. I'd also like a spare doll. She is pretty and I love her dresses. Can you leave her in my room instead of by the tree? That's so I won't get in trouble for asking for a doll. All right. So, dear puberty, what the hell? I've got hair growing in places I shouldn't. My voice is cracking when I talk, making me sound funnier than I normally do. And a certain body part keeps getting hard all of the time. I walk into a classroom, not even thinking of anything, and the next thing I know, super erecto. Or I'm in Spanish class listening to the teacher talk about verb conjugation, and out of nowhere, boom, another one. Again, what the hell? The damn thing has a mind of its own. It's embarrassing. I hope no one notices. Thank God I don't have gym class anymore. Otherwise, I'd be screwed when it came to shower time. This is all your fault, by the way. If it weren't for you, I wouldn't have to worry about hair growing in strange places or when the next random pop up will happen. Luckily, we have a sex ed class in school soon. Hopefully, they can tell me why this stuff is happening, especially since you haven't bothered to say a word yet. Just so you know, I like to be prepared for things, and I can't be ready if I don't know what's going to happen. So if you have any other revelations in store for me, please share them. I don't think I can handle any other surprises. Thank you. Really freaked out. P.S. So that you know, the next random pop-up that happens, stop it already. Dear fairy godmother. Oh my God, it finally happened. I met another gay person. He's just like me, noticeably feminine. He works in one of those novelty kitchen stores in the mall. One day I was walking by his store when I saw him. I can't tell you how excited I was to spot another gay person finally. I didn't think there were others like me in this area, but sure enough there are. I wanted to go in and say hi and introduce myself, but I was too afraid to do it, so I left. I went back a few days later, and this time I went in. But before I could say anything, he approached me and introduced himself. We instantly hit it off. It was like we'd known each other our entire life and became best friends. He's telling me all about what it's like to be gay and how to deal with what people who don't like us say. I'm also learning about all of the crucial gay lingo, like what a queen is, what tops and bottoms are, what poppers are, and what it's really like to have sex. We're not having sex. He's just telling me all about it. More importantly, he told me about their significance, which explains why I wanted her doll as a kid. He's also told filled me in on all the other divas, Barbara Streisand, Miller, Judy Garland, and Madonna. I'm learning so much. It's nice to know I'm no longer the only one in the world. Thank you for answering my wish. With love, no longer lonely. P.S. I never did get my stare doll as a kid. Okay, so another letter is from the determined optimistic years. Dear Closet, I did it. I told the family that I'm gay. Yeah, it went the way I thought it would. Mom said she had suspected. Well, duh. Dad was disappointed and disowned me. No surprise there either. My brother, well, he doesn't want me to be around him or his kids because he's afraid they'll grow up and be gay just like their uncle. Like that's gonna happen. It's not like some germ you can catch. Once again, oh, one doesn't become this fabulous. One is born this way. And yes, that's my way of covering up that it hurts like a bit. But as we've said in the past, I don't have room for that shit in my life. I can't and I won't do it. Got to got to adhere to my motto, love and accept me, or you aren't part of my life. Yes, it sounds harsh, but as you and I both know about survival, the rest of the family was just waiting for me to confirm their suspicions. Like I said earlier, one can't be this fabulous and hide it from others. As far as everyone else, like friends from high school, I didn't stay in touch with anyone, but I'm sure they'll find out in due time. Maybe my crush will finally admit, if only to himself, that he feels the same way. I know, wishful thinking. Anyway, after coming out, I moved to the big city of Portland. Okay, compared to San Francisco, it's not that big, but it's a good first move away from the home place. And and can I just say, holy crap, it is an entirely different world out there. There are drag bars, leather bars, dive bars, lesbian bars, and brunch, where everyone drinks the most. Unfortunately, I can't partake in that rite of passage because I'm allergic to champagne, but I can do a Bloody Mary. Since coming out, life has been an eye-opening experience, and I have enjoyed every minute of it. The highlight so far has been attending my first gay pride. Wow, that is all I can say about that. Well, walking down the street with hundreds of other gay people and seeing other people line up on the sidewalks in support of us was an experience that I will never forget. Coming from a small town like I did, I only experienced how much people hate us. But seeing everyone out in support brought tears to my eyes. I never imagined so many people actually loved and supported us. It was a day that will forever be in my heart. Yes, life has definitely opened up and became a completely different experience for me since I came out. And I have you to thank 100% for that. You always encouraged me and told me nothing was wrong with loving another man. Thank you for that and for always being there for me. With love, out and proud. Okay. My dearest drag divas. I had the pleasure of seeing your show the other night, and I must say I was mesmerized. The glitz, the glamour, the sequins, the jewels, and the hair, the very big hair. It was incredible. And the way you worked the crowd, amazing. You had everyone eating out of the palms of your bejeweled hands. How do you guys, sorry, how do you ladies do that? You are stunning, and I'm in awe of what you do. That said, I need to come clean and be honest with you. I had never seen a drag show until that night, and from the moment the house lights went down and the pre-show music started, I waited in ready anticipation for the curtains to open and reveal your beauty. And when they did, there you were, standing center stage, bathed in the spotlight, shining and twinkling like the stars in the heavens. I was captivated, mesmerized. And when the music started and you began performing, I was instantly lost in the show's magic. You were the sheer essence of the glamorous days of Hollywood when the leading ladies were ladies and carried themselves with poise, grace, and elegance. Seeing you that night awoke an inner diva I did not know existed. Well, that's not exactly true. I knew I had an inner diva. It's just that I've been ashamed of her. I thought if people knew I wanted to wear shiny dresses and sparkling jewelry, they would make fun of me more than what they already do now. So I tried to ignore her. Plus, I thought I was the only one who wanted to wear dresses and heels. I didn't realize others felt like I did until I saw your show that night. I mean, you were right there doing what I was always told was unacceptable. You were embracing your glamorous side, and not only that, you were showing it to the world in a spotlight. You showed me that embracing that side of myself is okay. And honestly, I must say, I love wearing heels. They make my legs look so good. Thank you for showing me that my inner diva is not to be feared or ashamed of. She should be embraced, and I should let her out for the entire world to see because the marvelous cannot stay hidden from the world. Your show was indeed an inspiration. I only hope that in time I will be as fabulous as all of you. I would appreciate any words of inspiration or pointers you have for me to become as great as you are. May you be blessed with the powers of Judy, Barbara, Bet, Cher, and Madonna. Thank you for your time, young drag queen. P.S. Is there a limit to how high the hair should be?
No.
Yes. And when I did do drag, I impersonated Madonna. So pictures on my Facebook page for her. You want me? Do I still have time for another one or?
Sure. Yes.
Okay.
Sure.
Okie dokie. Then we'll do one to Cosmo, which is my favorite drink. I'm in love with you. I've been in love with you since we met years ago on Long Island. I was having an iced tea. You sat alone at the bar, poised like Elizabeth Taylor for all your admirers. All eyes were on you. Your beautiful crimson red dress sparkled in the crystals that engulfed you. The sun was setting. A gentle sea breeze blew in, bringing in the sweet smell of the ocean. I tried to approach you. However, I was unsure of myself and ran away like a frightened greyhound, leaving you to be worshipped by your many lovers. I left Manhattan, not knowing if our paths would cross again. They did, on the outskirts of Boston. I stopped at a bar, and there you were, standing tall and proud, looking like you didn't have a care in the world. This time you were in pink, which sparkled in the early vesper nightlight, the light that only a sunset on Cape Cod can deliver. Encouraged by my friends Captain Morgan, Dave Daniels, and Johnny Walker, I approached you like a lost Pomeranian, where you feel the same about me as I did of you. Then we kissed, our lips fit perfectly. It was the very last word in osculation. Your smooth edges, sweet scent, and boldness melted my heart and won me over forever. That kiss felt like I'd been hit with a stinger and reeled back in a tailspin. From that moment forward, I knew you were the bee's knees and I would forever be under your spell. The Army and Navy would not pry me from your allure. Indeed, you are the sweet elixir of life, giver of strength and courage, and healer of many broken hearts. You've nursed this broken heart through breakups with Alexander and Rob Roy, job promotions at the Clover Club in San Francisco, and birthday celebrations that left me hungover that felt like a Moscow mule had kicked me. Your steady and constant warm embrace helped me on the Zulkari the night that I said goodbye to my dear friend while you kept the pain away. I knew then I'd never leave your safe harbor, not for all the martinis in the Bronx. You've encouraged me to be myself while others tried to diminish my light and bring me down. You showed me how to live as classy as Marilyn Monroe. With you by my side, shining as bright and radiant as Mary Pickford, I know I can achieve my goals and dreams, as you always say yes while others say no. In the beginning, we enjoyed many nights together as we gazed out over the smooth sapphire blue sea as the sun transformed its colors from Tuscan yellow to gold to red and finally to deep violet until the sea swallowed the sun. Those nights were the most tranquil evenings we shared until that one fateful evening when you met that sex columnist from New York. One day you were mine, then seemingly overnight, you became the one to be seen with. You were invited to club openings, brunch, dates, and Martinez Hollywood premieres and Southside parties thrown in your honor. While I know you did not mean to lose sight of our friendship, you couldn't help but be consumed by your new fame. It's been painful having to share you with the world. However, I realize I must, as you are now enjoyed by so many others who find you as intoxicating as I do. Please know that my heart will always belong to you, my true love, yours forever, admirer.
excuse me, Rodney, Rhoda, Taylor, everyone, thank you, it was great. Couple of housekeeping things before we move forward very quickly. We actually do have a pretty busy year coming up. I already pushed the awards, but do consider submitting your books for awards this year. Again, they come with cash prizes, but one thing I should also mention, these readings, other events we do throughout the year, and our annual awards ceremony in April are all free. They're free, open to the public. The reception that follows is free. It's just a great celebration of queer literature. Please, I can't remember the date now, Carol, is it April 16th this year?
14th or 16th?
I don't know. See, if you're on our mailing list, you will know. So make sure you get on our mailing list. But again, these are all free. We're not going, except for the submissions that we get and membership fees are $50 a year if you want to join as a member. Everything we do is out there. We don't have a staff to pay. We don't have lights to keep lit. We're me and Carol and a few other people doing it all for the love of literature. Again, thank you. I will, I would just take that personally. Personal love. Our readings, remember, will start again in January. You'll hear about that. We're also looking at doing an evening of queer poetry in January, along with our friends at TOSO, Society of Illustrators, and the Midtown Partnership. And that'll be on, if we put it together, it'll be at the Society of Illustrators on East 63rd Street here in Manhattan. I had something very important that I wrote down that I now can't read. So, and probably the last thing I want to leave you with before we return to the rest of the program. The holidays are coming up. Greg, we're starting with all the gift giving. So Greg Newton's birthday is coming up on Monday. Minus 2 Mondays after that. Carol, you're in December too, aren't you?
21st.
Carol's in, and then we have holiday with Christmas and Passover, Martin Luther King Day, all the gift-giving holidays. Strongly consider giving queer books because they are a great gift and you can pass them around and you can talk them up and the authors will all love you for it. There's a reason I'm writing another one after all these years. And also consider, Greg mentioned the Bureau of General Services Queer Division is a not-for-profit organization. When you purchase product, you're paying sales tax. But if you give a donation to help sustain this, which is a labor of love by Greg and Donnie, that's a deduction from your taxes. So, it's not like you're getting 100% back, but you're getting like 50% back and you're doing good in keeping one of the city's last independent queer bookstores, maybe the last now, keeping it going. So that is a good way to spend your holiday money too. Okay, now let's move on. And before I do though, is Nicole Goodwin here? She is not. All right, then she'll either be going fourth and last, or we'll get her at January. But okay, in which case, Stephen Rains. Stephen Rains is a poet, educator, and was appointed the first poet laureate of West Hollywood. Alongside over a dozen chapbooks, he's edited 4 anthologies and authored the collections Inheritance and Your Dead Body Is My Welcome Mat. Stephen created the first ever autobiographical poetry workshop for LGBT seniors, lectured and taught workshops around the country to queer youth and people living with HIV, and he's touring The Gay Rub, an exhibition of rubbings from LGBT landmarks. He's the board president of the Aeneas Nin Foundation and is at work on a new collection of poetry. His collection, A Quilt for David, which I have autographed, published by City Lights, is the product of 10 years of research. His newest collection, which you're reading from tonight, I assume. Yes. Yeah. His newest collection Outliving Michael focuses on the loss of a dear friend. And by the way, he has just wrapped up, I believe it's done, right? Judging for the poetry for Saints and Sinners this year. So another Saints and Sinners alumnus is present. So please welcome Stephen Rains.
I really want to thank all of you for coming out tonight. You had so many options of how to spend your evening, and I feel like you made the right one. So, yes, this collection is, and first of all, I'm so excited to be a part of an event with the Publishing Triangle. Those of you, I'm sure everyone here is aware of it, but just talk about an organization that does such a great service for the queer literary arts. And then also, I'm so thrilled to be reading in this bookstore. Every time I come to the city, I shop here and I find something that I've never encountered before. So I do want to warn everyone, if you see something you're like, maybe I should get it, maybe you won't see it again. So just get it. That's what I want to suggest. It's such a well-curated store and I'm so impressed. And I want to echo, the holidays are just right around the corner. Also my book, you should get my book. That's what should happen. So this collection, Outliving Michael, is about my friend Michael Church, who died of an AIDS-related illness in the year 2000. I met him when I was 18 years old, and Michael was 17 years older than I was, which at the time felt so big. But I was so inexperienced, and he was a very dear friend with an incredible sense of humor. And so this is a collection it's a friendship collection, and it's also a collection about the impact that friends have on our lives. Okay. This is a 5-part poem. Sting. I spent my childhood running away from bees in the backyard, feared every sight or mention of them, or stories of someone dying from a sting. I, having never been stung, worried that I might have an allergy. It was only much later when I read about bees dying in droves that I worried about them. By that time, I was a gardener, understood their purpose and power, too. I was picking plums in Natalie's yard. Bees buzzed around my outstretched arm. I remembered they used to scare me. The overripe plums would slip off, and the bees swarmed around each picked plum. We had so much in common, wanting the sugar. 3. I think back on how scared I was of being gay, of gay men. There were, after all, the men who trespassed, as if my young body was theirs to forage. I was not ripe or willing, but they took anyway. Then, when I was 14 in a discount clothing store, I saw 2 men with teased hair cackling at each other's jokes, hands flitting as if they were waving off bees. I browsed a nearby rack to watch them. I wanted their confidence, joy, what I thought they might be doing in bed together. Yet, I did not want to be them at all, yet I knew I was. I went to a bar long before I should have, a fake ID getting me into the door, and all the older men swarmed around me. 4. Years later, I met Michael. He was drunk and in drag, sitting at the bar of Naples' only gay club. He tugged on the side of his wig until it slid off of his bald head, leaving a face full of makeup and 2 double pearl drop earrings. Even intoxicated, his wit was quick. I'd feel it sting moments after a comment. We buzzed around the bar that night, vodka, the nectar we consumed. That night, I knew I wanted to spend every moment I could with him. I'd found my queen. 5. With Michael, I began to lose my fear of older men, to let go of the fright accumulated from predators of my past, and the media messages about what they carried and passed with sexual carelessness. They had been dying in droves. Their cum and blood could kill me, like the sting I'd always feared. So when I was 19 or 20, I went through a terribly insufferable new age phase. I don't know if anyone had ever had one of those. where I was, I strongly believed in meditating, in manifesting and, what else do I want to, you get the drift. All right, so that's like any 19-year-old, all right. I read self-help books, then metaphysical, new age books. I believed in deities, angels, manifesting, and symbols. Everything was magically significant. Every outside action caused by inner thoughts. When my car's rearview mirror fell off, I told Michael that maybe it was a sign. A reminder to stop looking back. Forget what was behind me, to think only of the future. Michael smiled and nodded. Maybe you just have a screw loose. In his second to last year, Michael had trouble getting hard. Viagra was a miracle drug all over the news and late night monologues, but his doctor said he didn't need it or sex. Not so subtly hinted that Michael was a danger to others. I told him I'd ask around. Bought 2 pills from a fast-talking drug dealer my friend Eric was dating, who warned me about side effects, upset stomach, abnormal vision, and to avoid grapefruit. I paid $40, a stretch for me at that time, and I never asked Michael for the money. I mailed the pills, enclosed an envelope. I want you to be happy. I want you to fuck your brains out. And I'm going to read 3 more poems. Oh, and in this poem, I talk about a sexy photographer, and I do just want to reiterate how hot he was. He was so hot. I wasn't drunk, just desirous. The dark-haired photographer with big eyes and romantic accent. We fucked without abandon, and regrettably, without a condom. It wasn't a death drive, but rather a zest to live, and maybe in a way to share more with Michael, but I did not want to die like him. The next day, I made calls to my doctor, the GMHC, the AIDS hotline. I asked about what I had read about, post-exposure prophylaxis, the treatment for needle sticks and condom breaks. I hadn't had an accident, but a judgment lapse, and I hoped they'd still help me. The treatment so new, my doctor knew nothing, and my calls got transferred from staff to staff. I was told I had less than 24 hours from exposure to take it, found out the medication and dosage, called my doctor, begged for the script, rushed to the pharmacy across town that had HIV meds, waited in a long line. When I think of myself at 26, that's what I see. Cordless phone in my hand while I dialed for my life to live. And I chose to read this poem tonight because it is really a poem about Andrew Holleran. And I think that for a lot of us, when we follow a writer or a musician, that we can kind of track our lives through, when their next release came out, right? Like we can remember the chair we sat in reading that, or, the bed we were on. And this is about my friendship with Michael and Andrew Holleran. Michael gave me a copy of Dancer from the Dance, told me it was his memoir. I held the book. Yeah, see, I knew this crowd would get it, thanks. I held the book and laughed. This is a novel by Andrew Holleran. But he said it was the closest thing to his own life that he had read. When The Beauty of Men came out, Michael bought it at the mall, and it sat on his nightstand for years. The jacket's covers matched his decor, and knowing Michael, this is why it stayed there so long. The last Holleran book Michael read was In September, the Light Changes. The glossy paperback had a railing overlooking the ocean, blue sky, and a ghost-like figure looking out into the water. I didn't read it then, though I could have. When I sat on his couch in those months, I stayed in Naples to be with him. On those long afternoons he spent in bed, sleeping or watching TV with a dog by his side. His dementia frustrated him so much. He threw his cordless phone on the lawn. Those last Those last few months were terrible. I tried to take care of him and I couldn't. Our May-September friendship didn't allow for a restructure. He wasn't so accepting, and I, so young, wasn't a good caregiver. He painted his living room salmon because it went from bright in daylight to a soft warm in the evening. When Michael died, the light changed for me. His walls lustered a little less. My life did too. 6 years after Michael's death, I held Holleran's last book in my hand. The title still, even all those years later, aptly fitting, Grief. And before I read one more poem, I'm going to take a drink of water. The person who clapped, could you tell? I needed it. Also, this is a 17-part poem, so that's why I'm like fueling up. And yeah, so this is my last poem. You're guys such a great audience. Thank you so much for coming out. It means the world to me. Thank you for publishing Triangle. Thank you guys for creating this store and inviting people like me in it. And this is also, I want to just break, this is my first hardback. After having so many books, I'm just so pleased to, we all like hard things. So, so this is a 17-part poem called Stories of a Life. 1, Michael once accused me of doing my hair with a blender. 2, he was upset with his dog Daisy for pissing in the walk-in closet, but the soap carpet made him realize it was his own, drunk from the night before. 3, Michael took me to his friend's birthday party, brought a very fancy lamp. Right before we walked into the door, he said, "Oh, you know I'm going to have to put this lampshade on my head." And that's how he rang the doorbell. 4, 5 nights after a plane crash, a drag queen with a plastic airplane on her head threw paper airplanes into the audience while lip-syncing John Denver's Leaving on a Jet Plane. Michael tipped her $50. 5, Michael told me my dancing reminded him of Elaine from Seinfeld. 6, Michael roasted lamb to celebrate my associate's degree. He told me that with my degree and $1.25, I could get a cup of coffee. 7, I drank only White Russians with Michael, his drink of choice, and I haven't had one since. 8, once in the galley parking lot, Michael narrated a drunk man's bumblings as if he were Howard Cosell, describing every misstep and stumble until the man fell into the bushes. We laughed until the medics came. No, we did not help him. We did not help him, guys. We just... 9. When my 5-year relationship ended, Michael thought he'd never hear the end of it and praised me for only mentioning it 3 times. 10. Cool Joe's Barbershop advertised $5 haircuts. Weeks later, a salon across the street put up a sandwich board. We fix $5 haircuts. Michael had to pull his car over from laughing so hard. 11. On Thanksgiving, Michael left a message on my answering machine that was just him gobbling. 12. On July 4th, Michael shouted a message on my answering machine, "Happy Codependence Day." 13. Michael had a side table filled with photos of his friends who had died. He called it the dead table. When I arrived late to his house once, I found that he had put my photo on it. 14. When a pretentious filmmaker said his movie was his gift to the world, Michael said, "I really hope he kept the receipt." 15. He told me that in each relationship, there's one person who loves the other more. In the best of relationships, each person believes they are that person. 16. Michael's days totaled 15,532. 17. Michael handed me a copy of Dancer from the Dance, said, "Read it, it's my life." When I gave it back to him a few days later, I said, "He dies in the end." Michael said, "It's my life." Thank you.
Goosebumps. Thank you, Stephen. Powerful. Stephen Rains, Jeffrey Newman, Rodney Rhoda Taylor. Thank you for so much. Again, we'll have all of you back, I hope. And Stephen, you don't have to come all the way from California. I'm glad while you were in New York, we had this opportunity to have you. We've been trying to arrange this for quite a while. So, thank you, Greg Newton and Donnie Jokum. Thank you, everyone that came out. We might have scheduled a little too early, live and learn. Next time, I think we're gonna aim for we're gonna split the difference, 6:30. So I can still get home in a decent hour, you can still get home in a decent hour, but no one's gotta rush to get out of work and make it here. And Goodwin, wherever you are, we will have you in early next year. And apologize for any mix up there. Buy queer books, thank you, everybody.
Good night, online audience and readers.